In December 1809, aboard the Boyd, a 395-ton brigantine flying the British flag, the son of a Maori chief stares at New Zealand shores, a land he has yearned to revisit. His name is Tiarra, a proud Maori of the Ngāpuhi tribe, a formidable and influential people who have lived on New Zealand's North Island since their arrival between roughly 1250 and 1300. The Maori, hailing from East Polynesia, reached New Zealand through expert navigation in canoes, traversing vast oceans over generations. Their first documented European encounter occurred in 1642, when Dutch explorer Abel Tasman anchored in what he called Murder's Bay, now Golden Bay. Maori wore canoes, sounding trumpets akin to Moorish battle horns, repelled Tasman, and he never returned. Not until October 1769 did Englishman Captain James Cook arrive in Poverty Bay, marking a pivotal moment of European Maori contact. Tiarra, having spent the previous year on British ships as part of an exchange voyage across the South Pacific, joined the Boyd in New South Wales, heading for New Zealand with 70 passengers. The Boyd had sailed from England to transport convicts to the penal colony in New South Wales, founded by Admiral Arthur Phillip in 1788, where prisoners labored for Britain's growing empire. Leaving New South Wales in October 1809, the Boyd sought to acquire a lucrative load of kauri timber, a prized resource from New Zealand's northern areas. Tiarra anticipated a straightforward trip, simply returning to his homeland. Yet the 1,200-mile journey was filled with conflict. From the start, Tiarra and the Boyd's captain, John Thompson, clashed. One report claims Tiarra, as a Maori chief's son, refused to perform lowly ship tasks, considering them beneath his rank. Another suggests the crew falsely accused him of stealing silver where they had discarded overboard. Regardless, Captain Thompson's punishment was harsh and immediate. Tiarra was bound to a capstan, starved, and lashed with a cat o' nine tails. Though allowed under British maritime law, this treatment of a Maori chief's son, ignoring cultural and political ramifications, was a serious misstep. During the flogging, Tiarra swore vengeance on Thompson and the crew. In the following weeks, he pretended to comply, gaining Thompson's confidence. He convinced the captain to reroute to Whangaroa Bay, claiming it held plentiful kauri timber. By agreeing, Thompson unwittingly doomed those aboard. As the Boyd anchored in the scenic waters of Whangaroa Bay, Tiarra felt a surge of joy, not only at nearing home but also at the prospect of retaliation. The crew admired the bay's lush green tree lines, turquoise waters, and volcanic hills, a striking contrast to anything most had witnessed. Seizing his opportunity, Tiarra plunged into the water, the salt water burning his back's wounds, and swam ashore, vanishing into the thick forest. Thompson and the crew, unsure whether to stay or leave, stayed anchored for 3 days. As they prepared to depart, a Maori canoe approached, signaling peace. The Maori indicated through gestures that they would lead Thompson and a small group to prime kauri trees near the Kyle River. Eager for the timber, Thompson, his chief officer, and 3 others followed in a rowboat. Once out of view, the Maori ambushed and killed Thompson and his men. Stripping their clothes and weapons, the Maori took the bodies to their village, where they were dismembered and eaten. That night, Maori warriors, dressed in the Englishman's attire, boarded the Boyd, quickly killing the lookouts. Other Maori canoes, hidden from view, swarmed the ship, massacring most of the crew and passengers. 5 were spared, and Morley and her infant, Thomas Davis, a second mate, an unnamed sailor, and 2-year-old Elizabeth Broughton. 5 others hid in the ship's rigging, escaping the slaughter. The next morning, a canoe carrying Chief Te Pahi from a neighboring Ngāpuhi hapu approached. Intending to trade, Te Pahi and his men boarded the Boyd and discovered the survivors. Willing to assist, they urged the survivors to flee in their canoe. However, as they reached shore, 2 Whangaroa canoes pursued. Te Pahi, unable or unwilling to act, watched as the warriors killed all but 1 survivor, who was taken captive. The Maori then towed the Boyd to mudflats near Motu Wai, Red Island, plundering its cargo for days. Flour sacks, salt pork barrels, and wine bottles were ruined in the looting. Catastrophe struck when a warrior, unfamiliar with muskets, ignited a fire that triggered the ship's gunpowder stores. The blast killed 10 Maori, including Tiarra's father, and ignited the whale oil reserves, reducing the Boyd to a charred wreck. Declared tapu, sacred and forbidden, the wreck was abandoned. The 3 adult survivors, and Morley, Thomas Davis, and the unnamed sailor, were enslaved performing exhausting tasks. The unnamed sailor, collapsing while crafting fishing hooks, was killed. Morley, her infant, and Elizabeth Broughton were spared but given minimal food and shelter. Word of the massacre reached European settlements. In the Bay of Islands, Captain Alexander Barry of the whaling ship City of Edinburgh organized a rescue. Sailing north, Barry's crew attacked a Maori village, capturing several members. Unbeknownst to them, this was Te Pahi's Hapu, who had helped the survivors. The next day in Whangaroa Bay, Barry's crew spotted the Boyd's remains and captured more Maori. With hostages, Barry demanded the survivors' release, threatening to kill the captives and destroy the village. The Maori complied, freeing in Morley, her infant, Thomas Davis, and Elizabeth Broughton, all gaunt but alive. Barry also recovered the Boyd's logs and demanded Whangaroa chiefs be stripped of rank, a symbolic but unenforced act. The City of Edinburgh sailed to Valparaiso, Chile, for repairs, then to Lima, Peru. There, Anne Morley died, and her daughter was placed in a Spanish household. Elizabeth Broughton was adopted by a wealthy Spanish couple. Thomas Davis worked for Barry but drowned in 1822 exploring the Shoalhaven River. In New Zealand, the massacre's consequences endured. In March 1810, sailors from whaling ships attacked a village on Motuapo in Waiwua Bay. Te Pahi's Hapu, wounding Te Pahi. In April, Te Pahi led an attack on the Whangaroa Maori but was killed. The musket wars starting around 1807 escalated post-massacre, fueled by European weapons. From 1807 to 1845, roughly 20,000 Maori died, with thousands enslaved or displaced, as tribes vied for resources and dominance. The Boyd Massacre and its aftermath, entwined with European expansion, remain a tragic episode in New Zealand's history, defined by cultural miscommunications and devastating outcomes.